Perfect. Sure. Perfect. Sure.
I saw you the other day on Gina. I'm kind of like, but it's actually such a perfect atmosphere. Like it's such a beautiful space.
I don't know. Hi guys.
I feel like Mr. Are you talking to me? I can't. Except our house, and that hasn't changed either. Like, our renovations
please. Thank you. I'm not sure how that happened. Rick, how are you always the last guy to sit down?
Who's the last guy?
Welcome. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming today to join in a celebration of Marie Schwandt. I am Bill Schwandt, commonly known by my siblings as the favorite child. She always told me if I could have been her grandchild, I'd be the favorite grandchild as well. Just so you grandchildren know that. Now, we have a number of items on the program today. We tend to be a little bit of a talkative bunch, so we slashed our agenda in half, and I think we only have a couple hours left. So we'll try and move along pretty quickly. But I do have to apologize for those who aren't on the program. There's going to be no open mic, no chance for anybody to add to the program. So once you're up here, you can ad lib, but I'll cut you off if you last too long. We're going to start with a verse of a song. Just listen for now. Now, the significance of that song, some of you might recognize it. In 1971, Saskatchewan had its homecoming. Marie formed a musical group called the Young Canadians, 10 boys and 10 girls from grades 11 and 12 in Strasbourg. She organized practices, created choreography, and picked out songs and kept us in line. And we ended up entering in a provincial contest and won at the Center of the Arts in Regina. Big deal for us. We felt like movie stars. The cool thing was that we traveled around all summer that year in Dave Martin's school bus, going from small town to help them celebrate their homecoming celebrations, and it was a great experience. It was a blast. But that was the kind of thing that the mom could get done. Now, I'm going to get some of the original Young Canadians up here, because we're now going to ask everybody, you have words on your tables to this song. And we're going to get everybody to stand up and sing along with us. And I'm going to get some of the original Young Canadians up here to help me lead this song. We've got Peter and Jeanette. Fred, where's Fred? Okay. I don't think there's any others here. But you'll notice on your song sheets that there's numbers on the side, but don't follow them. They're wrong. We're gonna sing all the verses and choruses, but we'll leave off the last chorus. But anyway, we can probably start.
Everybody's got to sing along.
Tell me why you're crying, my son. I know you're frightened like everyone. Is it the thunder in the distance you fear? Will it help if I stay very near? I am here.
There, that should loosen everybody up. Just so that everybody knows who some of the family are here, I want to introduce Marie's children and their families. We'll start with the Heggies, and I'll get you guys to stand up. My sister Betty Ann and her family, Wade Heggie, Louise Heggie, and Elizabeth Heggie. Thank you. My own family, Jeanette Schwandt. Eric and Katie Schwandt are not able to be with us today. Their hearts are with us, but they're at home in Cayman. And Jane Schwandt and Sean Gorel. My brother Doug and his family. Patricia Schwandt. Yeah, there's lots of them in there. Patricia Schwandt, Ray Love and Rob Love, Paul Schwandt and Sinai Mendoza, Lynn Schwandt and Brian McDonald, and Dane Schwandt. The Houghton Larsons. My baby sister, Gina Houghton Larson. Rick Houghton Larson, Annie Houghton Larson, and Tomer Sabo. Tomer's not able to be here today. And Grace Houghton Larson. Now, Marie always kept a journal, more than a diary. She did it for years, and she had books and books and books with her memories and thoughts on life. And she would write down things, not only about her day-to-day life, but things that she thought were important. And we found a page written in Marie's handwriting. It's in your programs, actually. It's about women being mothers and remembering that women are not only mothers, but they're people as well. Marie's granddaughter, Jane, is going to read this. Sorry.
In the hurly-burly of growing families, mothers are the tapestry makers, weaving in and out of our lives through celebration and trouble, the daily grind, and the passing milestones. They are the keepers of family stories, the censors of youthful indiscretions. Then, one day, they slip through the invisible curtain of age, and we tend to forget that they giggled as girls, chased their dreams, stood like lionesses for their children, and abide as shelters in our lives.
Betty Ann reminded me this morning of a story. I can do this. No, I'm not going to do this, Rick. Because Rick said if I did that, he'd come up and help me. Anyway, one fall, Mom drove us to the valley to look at all the leaves, the fall colors, and have a picnic, and she was really enjoying herself, and she got into a very nostalgic mood, so she drove us to Regina to a drive-in theater. That was a big deal for us, all kids in school, and we got home about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was a school night. And Mom made sure not to tell anybody, especially the teachers, that we had been out that late on a school night. So it kind of reminded us that she was breaking rules too, and that she was a person as well. So I just thought that was interesting. I'm going to ask Ray Love to come up and say the prayer of St. Francis, please.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born into eternal life. Amen.
That prayer is a bit of a family favorite, and it was one of Mom's favorites as well. Reminds me, in the soundtrack, I'm not sure if we heard it before, but it's in the soundtrack somewhere for the program, that there's a song, "In the Mood." It was Glenn Miller's big band song. It was a hit parade in the 40s and a big hit in the 50s. And Dad always told me it was his and Marie's song when they were going out together. They used to always dance to it. So Mom always told her kids, or her girls, when they were looking for a husband, they should always look for two things in a man. One, make sure he likes to dance. Number two, make sure he has a good sense of humor. Also in Marie's journals, Louise Heggie found some notes, again in Mom's handwriting, or Marie's handwriting. I switch back and forth. I used to call her Marie sometimes. Sometimes I call her Mom. Anyway, the one that Louise found she thought was very touching is about angels, and she would like to read it to us now.
So this is actually in her handwriting. Angels. Angels are the guardians of hope and wonder. They're the keepers of magic and dreams. Wherever there is love, an angel is flying by. Your guardian angel knows you inside and out and loves you just the way you are. Angels, they keep it really simple and they always travel light. Remember to leave space in your relationships so that angels have room to play. Your guardian angel helps you to find a place when you feel there is no place to go. Whenever you feel lonely, a special angel drops in for tea. Angels are with you every step of the way. And they help you soar with amazing grace. After all, we are all angels. In training, all we have to do is spread our wings and fly. Thank you.
Straight vodka. It's getting easier and easier. Marie's daughter, Betty Ann Higgy, will now give us a tribute to Marie.
I want to pay tribute to my mother, Marie Schwandt, who was really a woman ahead of her time. In the 1950s, it was women who were considered good moms if they taught Sunday school and took their kids to church. So my mom made sure she did all that. And I remember on Sunday mornings her trying to get 4 kids dressed up and hustled out the door so that we wouldn't be late and be stuck in the last pew that was squeaky. And while she gave us this formal education at Sunday school, she taught us at home about all the other religions of the world, and she encouraged us to think about all the religions as potentially being one. And that was an idea that it's gained popularity recently, but it's pretty unconventional in the 1950s. In the 1960s, 2 women moved to our small town that were clearly a couple. And a lot of people were very uneasy with this, and some rejected them, and there was a lot of gossip. But my mom opened her arms wide and invited them to our house for dinner. And with that simple gesture, other people found it in their hearts to accept them as well, and they became part of the community. It's interesting how a simple act of leadership can make a difference to a culture. And then when I was a little girl, I realized how she really didn't support stereotypes. And unlike many young women, she encouraged me to take risks, speak out, voice my opinion, as opposed to being someone who politely sat by and listened and supported others. But I had a grade 4 teacher who really was unhappy with my individuality and really tried hard to put me in that box. And I remember my mother marching down to that school and saying in no uncertain terms to that teacher that her job was to teach me spelling and math and science, and to let me, but not to touch my personality, to let me be who I was. And that was such an important lesson for me in how important it is for us to be true to ourselves and who we really are. So these are just some of the examples of how I really think my mother was a woman ahead of her time, but they don't really express the depth of my feelings about her. Over the last couple of years, I've always turned to her for guidance and advice. And over the last couple of years, with her dementia advancing, I was unable to do that anymore. And so I missed her as a sounding board, and I had to readjust. And now I'm going to have to readjust again, because I'm not going to be able to hold her hand or hug her close and get comfort in her smell. And I must tell you that last night it really struck me that, we're the oldest generation now, and I don't really feel quite ready to assume the mantle that she held so well. And I can only hope that for the rest of us that we can be as progressive and ahead of our time as she was. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivian. I guess Marie was a bit of a feminist now that I think about it. And I think she probably was successful talking to that teacher about not altering Betty Ann's personality. Which probably turned out to be a relatively good thing, but it wasn't good for her younger brothers growing up. But we got through it. I remember Mom, speaking of individuality and equality, she taught school and was a good one, good teacher. She was at a fairly large function, a teacher's function, at a presentation dinner they were having, and the superintendent of insurance was from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, and evidently a bit of a chauvinist himself. He presented a lot of the male teachers with brand new ties for their good teaching work during the year, but didn't acknowledge any of the women. So Marie went and announced to everybody that she was going to do a presentation for him. And she told him that he was very Shaunavonistic. And she cut his tie off with scissors. That's exactly what happened. Everybody laughed and cheered except for the superintendent. Grace Houghton Larson is now going to sing a song to Grandma Moon River. Grace?
river wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, river and me. River and me.
Thank you, Gracie. That was one of Mama's favorites. As evidenced by Young Canadians Productions, Marie always loved a good song and dance routine. And in the summer of 2016, we had a 90th birthday party for Marie. And her granddaughters quickly threw together a production for Grandma. Are we able to play that now?
Okay, here we go. We just learned this. Grandma, this one's for you. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day.
So you can see if I let this bunch loose, we'd be here all afternoon. Mama's never scared of changes in technology, automation, or fashion. Even when the hula hoop first came out, she could see that it was going to be a big fad. So she hurried into Regina and bought us kids hula hoops, and we were experts before anybody else in town even had them. Well, Doug and I were never that good at it, but the girls were good at it. We're now going to have Marie's granddaughter, Annie Houghton Larson, to deliver the eulogy.
I'm actually a very good hula hooper for what it's worth. Okay. If mothers are the tapestry makers of our lives, then Marie, in her almost 91 years on earth, Marie wove a strong, intricate, colorful, and beautiful tapestry. Born in Climax, Saskatchewan on December 20th, 1926, to Mildred and Oswald Onerheim, Marie was a strong and special woman from the very start. By age 4, Marie was playing bridge as her mother's partner around the neighborhood. Her love of playing games only deepened as she grew up. Now, Marie would say she was a very talented card player, and it's true, she almost always won. But those of us who played rummy or bridge or really anything against her, we'd say she was a cheater. At only 17 years old, Marie was the first in her family to go to university. When Marie arrived in Saskatoon to start her degree, it was the first time she'd ever been to a city. Now, we know from her diary from her first year, Marie wasn't just studying English. She was using her late pass on Bob and Peter and John, and she was having a swell time. After graduating, Marie was working in Strasbourg when she met the love of her life. Hal Schwandt caught the eye of the long-legged teacher, and they married on New Year's Day in 1951. Marie and Hal always worked as a team. They ran a hotel and a farm, and they made a home full of love and animals. Smart as a whip and even more capable, Marie worked as the high school English teacher, directed the Young Canadians Choir, wrote the centennial history books for Strasbourg, Beaulieu, and Duval, sewed costumes for the ice carnival, accompanied school band members on the piano, all while raising 4 kids. Marie was a voracious reader, often reading a book a day, unless there was a curling match or baseball game on TV. As a retiree, Marie spent her days in Saskatoon and the family cabin in Cypress Hills, doing crosswords, playing bridge, reading, painting, and golfing with her sister Hazel, a lifelong friend. In her final years, Marie quieted. She became more forgetful and hesitant. She was older, seemed smaller, but she was still Marie. She was thoughtful, interested, silly, and wise. Throughout her life, Marie was a source of great wisdom and comfort for everyone who knew her. She gave sage advice and just right hugs. It all comes out in the wash. There's a lid for every pot. The day is going to come, and the day is going to go. The difference between a good and a bad haircut is 2 weeks. You make your own luck.
Lynn remembers wondering how Grandma could possibly know so much about so many things. As a child, Grace now famously remarked, "Mom, how come Grandma can do everything and you can't do anything?" There's no situation we could face for which Grandma didn't have a story to offer. Ray and Rob's engagement brought up memories of Marie and Hal's first years of marriage, how Marie didn't know how to cook, so for the first few months, Hal only ate what she could make, homemade fudge. Jane remembers practicing the piano for Grandma the night before a competition. After fumbling her way through the song, young Jane looked up expectantly, waiting for praise. Grandma laughed. Instead, she offered, "Well, I guess you're running out of time to practice, but first place isn't everything." Elizabeth remembers running lines with Grandma for her Shakespeare play. Elizabeth hated her part. She hated the play, she wanted to be outside. "I know," Grandma reasoned, "but you gave your word, and you have to see your commitments through even when it isn't fun." During her first year of university, Grace found herself leaning on Grandma often. And while Grandma was supportive and listened to Grace, when she heard hesitation in Grace's voice, she was sure to push, just the right amount. For Dane, 4 simple words from Grandma have shaped the person he is today. "You're a good man." More than a compliment, this was a challenge. Because Grandma believed it, Dane believed it too. Marie was the tapestry maker of our lives. She wove her tapestry in and out of our lives through celebration and trouble, the daily grind, and the passing of milestones. Paul remembers a day spent with Grandma poring over a 6-foot painting of the Great Wall of China. The painting hung in his room for years as a reminder of his and Grandma's shared love of art and travel. Paul thought of his grandma as he walked along the real Great Wall over a decade later. Louise, who similarly caught Grandma's travel bug, remembers a trip to slightly less exotic Drumheller to see dinosaur artifacts. Ray and Lynn chose the same profession as Grandma, and there's no doubt that Ray and Lynn will have long careers as passionate, patient, and effective educators, in no small part because of Grandma's openness in discussing the great pleasures and challenges of teaching. You know, there's a running joke in our family about who holds the position of favorite grandchild. And while we're pretty sure it's Eric, one thing's for sure, Grandma Marie was our favorite. Marie was the tapestry maker of our lives. So I don't know how we're supposed to do it without her. When your grandma, when your sister, when your mom is gone, what are you supposed to do? Who do we lean on when it all seems like too much? Who do we call for that one recipe? Who will send us newspaper clippings? In the days since her passing, I've been thinking a lot about legacy. Marie has passed, but her legacy lives on. Because if Marie was the tapestry maker of our lives, then she exists in each of us. By raising us, loving us, teaching us, Marie empowered us to be okay without her. I seriously believe that if we learned or absorbed or inherited even an ounce of Marie's strength, her smarts, her kindness, her calm, her humor, if we use what she gave to us, and if we stick together as a family, we're going to be just fine. Marie was the tapestry maker of our lives, and we will honor her and celebrate her, because hers was a life well lived.
Thank you, Annie. I got so many stories. You know, if you talk about her winning all those card games, Dad used to tell me that they used to go to the horse races in Regina, and Mom would win money every time. Just because she liked the look of some horses. She would just pick one and it would win. Then they'd go on the rides all night. I'm going to ask Elizabeth to come up to share some thoughts.
I was going to say a poem, but I think I'd rather just say some words about Grandma. From my birth, Grandma helped shape my identity. She would ask me questions about who I am and what I think. And then she helped me build my confidence by allowing me to think for myself. I always felt capable and empowered around Grandma because she wouldn't say, here's how I would do it. She would instead encourage me. And whenever I decided, she was proud of my choices. Grandma never allowed me to think I was undeserving or spoiled. And when I was a target by kids at school and teachers, she would come home upset, and I would come home upset. I'm never gonna make it through this. I don't know, I almost opted out. So bear with me. I did just want to say something. She would always say, you can't spoil a good kid, and that people are going to disappoint you, and it would build my confidence again. Grandma didn't just get to be my grandmother. She had to be my parent so many times. She wouldn't just get to chalk me full of sugar and send me back to my parents. She had to take me to the doctor when I dislocated my knee on a trampoline, and the many times I had, I don't know what going on, bug bites and rashes, and all the times I fell off something, or poor Grandma. She met all my boyfriends, and she knew intimate details about them. And she knew all my secrets, and they're dying with her. Because Grandma, yeah, she did. Because she would always say, I'll never tell. And she never did. And she never judged me, even when I judged myself. And in Belize, one holiday, we did the Proust questionnaire. So Michelle Proust in the back of Vanity Fair, there's the Proust questionnaire, and we all answered it. And I could have predicted it. Grandma's answer, one of the questions is, what's your life motto? And I could have predicted it. And she said, when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. Well, Grandma made a lot of lemonade out of lemon experiences for me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. There's been so many people that have sent messages and emails, and people sent us lots of great thoughts and memories, and we're going to get Gina and Doug to come up and summarize some of those, maybe give us a little bit of a Reader's Digest version. If we read them all, it would take all afternoon.
We're the dream team. We actually really love public speaking, Doug and I. So, in the age of social media, and of course with Betty Ann's huge amount of followers, we've had so many wonderful comments about Mom over the past few days. So we thought we'd share a few of them with you today. So we'll just go through a compilation. Family friend Lori Bush. Marie deserves the credit that when you are a good friend of a Schwandt, you become a part of the family. Marie embodied inclusiveness way before it became a trend, and it is a tribute that her children have carried on that mantra.
So this is this is one we received from Mom's niece, Darlene Swan. She was one really special woman who influenced my life many ways. Over the years, I have thought of her often, especially when I was looking for inspiration.
Family friend Wendy Ditlove. When I think of your mama, I will forever think of a vibrant, beautiful woman who loved to read and dance, enjoy a glass of wine, and tell a naughty joke. I am so honored to have known her.
Marie's nephew, Roger McRae, said, "When I was a young lad, she had the gift of making me feel older. When I became older, she had the gift of always making me feel younger, but always feeling important."
Niece Joanne Onerheim. I have a vivid memory of shopping with Marie, Hazel, Gina, and Jennifer at a women's clothing store. I think we were looking for bathing suits. Marie performed some pranks that day, trying on a dress backwards and coming out of the change room asking us what we had thought about her dress. She made it fun for everyone.
This is one from Karen and Ian Wilson. One fun memory we had was driving with Marie to Cypress Hills, loaded with 2 kids, a dog, and then having to stop at the co-op in Maple Creek for a few things for the cabin. Marie happily sat and held 4 bags of groceries for the last 20 miles of our trip.
Former student Peter Frosted. Bill and I were in all-boys English class, grade 11. Your mom kicked us both out of class and sent us to the principal's office.
This is from Marie's grandniece, Heidi. Nothing was more entertaining when she and Grandma Hazel would get together and get the giggles.
Former student Carol Schultz. The first edition of Strasbourg history books would never have happened if not for Marie. I'm so proud of Marie for capturing all that history that will never be lost.
This is from Mom's sister Hazel and Jay and Pat Brown. Marie, the dancing partner and heartthrob of Hal. The definition of a gold medal grandma and mother-in-law. The light and life of many gatherings of family and friends. She was 90 plus years of amazing.
Family friend Marie Lanou. I have memories of the adorable and remarkable Marie and always found it inspiring that we shared the same name and were both painters. Marie regularly visited my studio over the last number of years, as she was always curious about my work. To have a wise elder in my workplace relating to my work is a treasure I will never forget. Marie cried upon seeing certain pieces dealing with color, and I melt thinking about that profound reaction to something that I had created. Marie was a one-of-a-kind treasure, always curious about life in all of its complexities.
This is from family friend Elaine Natishan. When we last had lunch, I realized that Marie's health was failing. My heart ached when I received a message from Betty Ann confirming that Marie was ready to leave us. But Betty Ann lightened the day when she shared her vision of Hal, holding out his hand for Marie to come and dance with him. Now I close my eyes and smile when visualizing Hal and Marie dancing with the stars. May their music never end. We received a lot of comments. Thank you very much. Hopefully that's a small bit here gave a flavor of how so many people felt about Marie. And we just thank everybody for their thoughts and wishes and comments.
Thank you.
I got a message from a high school friend on Facebook, that Facebook Messenger thing. I don't really know how it works. Anyway, she kind of got the message a little bit mixed up and said, sorry about the grammar in here because I don't know how to change it in this Facebook thing. And she said, I feel really guilty that I'm writing about Marie and I have bad grammar because Marie taught us English and made sure that we all knew how to speak properly. Except for Peter and I, because we got kicked out of class. I'm going to do just I think we'll do the life and pictures and then I'll just do some closing comments. I just want to introduce a few more people and thank them for coming. Mom's sister, Hazel Brown. Hazel escaped from City Hospital today. She just had hip surgery a couple days ago, so. Yeah, you don't need to stand up, Hazel.
But I do miss her so.
Oh yeah, you guys had great times in Cyprus, didn't you? Hazel's son Jane and his wife Pat Brown are both here, and Jennifer Ostrander, somewhere here, there she is. Gina had a friend fly all the way in here from Glen Ellen. Carol's in, or is she here somewhere? There she is. Darlene Swan came from Calgary. Willa Bell, did Willa make it? I didn't see Willa today. It's too bad. Mom's friend from the Stonebridge. Jerry Clark came up from Regina. I think Debbie drove her up. Thank you very much. And I think I saw Chris from Cyprus. Chris and Sherilyn. There they are. Thank you guys so much for coming up. Mom loves you guys down there. I want to thank Peter and Carol for doing the photography and helping out with the song and stuff. Special thanks to Karen Wilson and Stephen Goluboff, who were so helpful in taking care of Mom.
Yes.
There will be an internment next summer in Strasbourg. Hal and Marie have plots there. Hal's there waiting. The bar is open again now. And there's going to be some snacks too. We don't have a lot of time left because we do actually have to be out of the room by 4. Please stick around and have a visit and have a quick snack and a drink. Everybody has access to the art gallery until 5. And Mom would love nothing more than to have all of you leave here at 4 o'clock and go and look around the art gallery a little bit. And it's a wonderful place and she would have loved it. She never did see it. So anyway, thank you all for coming. That ends our program.